about the creeks. And yet the creeks is where the money is produced. And I want to say here, because Nigerians are very quick to say, maybe I have done something to gain. Number one, since I've been fighting, I've never taken money from anybody or government. I have been fighting with my money.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We are reaching you from Captain's Television here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you're right on time for the interview. Our guest on the show today is Chief Rita Lori Ogbebor. She is a renowned community leader in the Niger Delta region. She is a social critic. She is an activist and an elder stateswoman. She is also the Itsekiri Leader. It's great to have you on the show, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Right, now let's start this conversation first by talking about the amount of decadence in Niger Delta region. I know that for years you have been a strong force and an advocate for the cleanup and development of the Niger Delta region, and it's at a direct result of your agitations in that region that you as the Delta State, the oil producing areas. That's where you have the Superdec that was established by James Ibori's administration in 2006 by law that directs 50% of the 13% derivation funds accruing to the state from the federal government as a result of oil exploration activities in the region. And also, now, in that regard, how much would you say that your advocacy has done, even up until now, to ensure the development of that region?
Thank you very much for having me. You have already announced my name. My name is Chief Mrs. Rita Lori Ogbebor, the Igba of Warri. The question, I am amazed that you have come to me with these questions, and I'm amazed that you didn't start, or you are not starting from the current pipeline. That is the in thing now, pipeline surveillance. I was almost going to say to you, no, I am not going to talk anymore about pipeline surveillance, Niger Delta, and all that is going on. I wasn't going to say anything else. But what interests me is that you've gone back to the Superdec and the 13% derivation, which actually is the beginning of all these problems, because it is the neglect of the Superdec, 13% derivation, amnesty. These are the little, as far as I'm concerned, little interventions that the federal government first and foremost started with. But each one of them failed. They failed because we ourselves, the leaders of the Niger Delta, we are to be blamed for most of these calamities that are happening to us. And at every time these things happen, I have intervened. I have gone In most cases, take the Desopadec, the 13% derivation. The 13% derivation, the way it was being used, I didn't think that was going to be of use to any body in the Niger Delta. It was not going to be of any use to us. So I went to court with my own money. For 8 years, I was in court with the then governor, saying no, the 13% is not given to the state to squander. It's not part of the state, what should go to the state. It is meant for the development, upliftment of the Niger Delta, for the good of the poor in the Niger Delta, whose properties are going to be affected. People who are poor, who will not have enough to eat. It's for the schools. It's for hospitals. That was my argument. At that time, I was a laughing stock. Nobody cared. What is that one saying? She doesn't know what she's saying. But I believe in whatever I have thought, taking time to think for myself. I also think it will affect other human beings. I was sorry for what is going to come. I could see it coming. So, this is how many years ago? A young girl like me, a young woman like me then, should be glad to take that money to buy clothes, makeup, fly to London, and stay there. But no, I didn't do that. I went to court. I was in court for 8 years, alone, until finally, I don't want to call the names of governors today. I don't want to call the names of anybody today, because I have done so in the past. Now that all that I told them and said is happening, they can see for themselves. And I thank God I'm alive to see. And I thank God for my children who believed in me when I was wasting the money. They were in England. Instead of sending the money for them to finish their education, I was busy minding the Shekiri people, who are my people, minding the Niger Delta, putting my life on the line. I thank them. They can see today everything I said. At the total end of 8 years of my being caught, the then governor, then he was leaving this. As he was going away, he now created the Desopadec. And he said 50% of that money should be used, will be used by the government, the state government. And 50% will be used by the who? By the poor people. By whom? Well, he said 50% here, 50% there. So that was how it is. It was. And it is still today. But then, the 50%, nobody saw the 50%, the so-called 50%, in the creeks. Nobody saw any development in the creeks. This money, this 13%, was supposed to be for the people in the creeks. And I am a princess. My mother, my great-grandmother founded Ajigba. And after 200 years, today it has reverted to me. I am now the Igba of Wari. That community is not my own. So, like I was fearing, Now people die of hunger, no hospital, nothing, no schools, everything perished. And this is the beginning of the problems we're having today. Because the children had no school to go to. The mothers, when they are pregnant, they may survive, they may die. Nobody cared about the creeks. And yet the creeks is where the money is produced. And I want to say here, because Nigerians are very quick to say, maybe I have done something to gain. Number one, since I've been fighting, I've never taken money from anybody or government. I have been fighting with my money. I leave Warri to come to Abuja. For instance, this time I'm here, I paid 150,000 one way to get to Abuja. As I'm going back, another 150,000. That is 300,000. I've never taken contract from federal government or state government. I do things because that is the correct way to do it. Oh. If God puts you in a position as a leader to do something, then you must do it. And that is what I have done.
Awesome.
So nobody is going to pass any, today you see me, I talk. Because I'm free to talk. Nobody can say I have done anything wrong. Oh. So, this is a situation that the 50%, which the governor says they will give to the poor, for the people in the creeks, we didn't see anything. So what do you expect the boys to do? Those who are dying are dying. A small boy will get up in the morning and drink ogogoro till night. And yet he sees people come in beautiful clothes to extract, to take their oil, to take their wealth. What are you doing to that child? What are you doing to the people? They come in vessels and they just stand aloof in the corridors of the creeks. They are taking away their products. The governors never thought that they should use the money that the federal government has given to them to help the poor. There's no accountability. This is the problem. And the federal government too, where they are eating and drinking, they didn't care about the people. So now the people decided to care for themselves. And this is gradually, they got more and more daring. More and more daring. At the beginning, they thought they thought that it's the Shekiris that are gaining, who were perhaps more educated at the time. They thought the Shekiris are the one gaining and working with, with the federal government. It's the federal government, the Shekiris that are getting all the money. So the Warri war started. The Jaws and the Shekiris started the war. They killed, a lot of people died. These were people who were intermarried. Some of them got angry and killed their own wives and children. Until this matter was settled by the then President Olusola called.
You mean Olusegun Obasanjo?
Olusola, Mr. President, please forgive me. I'm a bit, so your name should never be forgotten in this country. So, he came in at that time because it became an international matter. That people came, Americans, they started to donate clothes to us giving people food, we who have the money, the golden egg, the golden
The chicken that lays the golden
we are
egg.
the chicken that lays the golden egg. They started giving us food. I was angry. However, may God bless General Olusegun Obasanjo. He went into the matter. And this was when all this he now founded the Desopadec. The Desopadec was now founded. Brains were called from all the tribes, from outside and inside, to solve this problem. And a master plan was produced. I was there. We produced this master plan that finally led to the creation of NDDC.
Okay.
NDDC was founded because of the intricacies of the Niger Delta. If you have to solve the problem, you have to have an institution to take care of the many problems that are going to come out. And that was what we did. And a board was created.
At the time?
At the time.
Okay.
And the board is still existing today. But dead, half dead or dead, the way it is being run. And it had its own act, the NNDC Act, where in order to not to marginalize any tribe, there were the big tribes that produce the oil. This is Delta State, Akwa Ibom. There are 4 of them. These tribes were to produce the managing directors.
Okay.
They were to produce the managing directors because they were producing the big quantity of oil in that region. It was all right. The Delta states, the biggest tribes in the states producing the oil should produce the managing directors. Now, the Delta State, in Delta State, the Shekiris produce the biggest amount of oil. It should be their turn. But all of a sudden, once the bigger tribes, people like Akwa Ibom, Cross River, once they got in and they produced the managing directors, then a lot changed. And they were not following the act anymore. In a year, NDDC has about 700 billion for the board to manage all the problems, intricacies of the Niger Delta. But once these people, different people, and then there was a board. And this board is supposed of governors from the Niger Delta. They were supposed to supervise the NNDC. But once they got there, they threw the master plan and its objectives, they threw it away. Every governor now goes there, they do not formulate anymore any policies that will bring Niger Delta together and produce and improve and develop the Niger Delta. Take, for instance, you hear the word when you're outside, Niger Delta, Niger Delta. Ask yourself, where is it? If you say Britain, if you get to Britain, you must know Britain. If you say Agbo, if you get to Agbo, you will see Agbo. You know, they have these boundaries. And the man in Agbo knows that he has to improve and develop Agbo. Take your own Abuja here. Your Abuja has these boundaries with Nasarawa. When you get to Abuja, nobody will tell you this is Abuja. You know this is Abuja. And you have all the structures that develop, and the persons and structures that is Abuja. People that are managing Abuja. There, it is their responsibility to know what to do and manage Abuja. You come here, you want to go to the hospital in Abuja, there's a hospital. You want to go to school, there's a school. Even you want to go to the market in Abuja, there's a market. There's nothing like that in the Niger Delta. So where is the Niger Delta?
Okay. Now, sorry to cut in here now, because now, since after the corruption, alleged corruption that happened with the NDDC, and then you have the forensic audits that came forth.
I'm coming. So, what every governor did then was to go to the NNDC and say, this is what I want. This is the contract I want. They gave contract to themselves without caring about where they call the Niger Delta. So the boys who see these governors and see these big men, for instance, if you are not from the Niger Delta, now you saw what is happening. Now you can see the pictures. You saw the managing director, Kerry, went into the Niger Delta. I'm sure this is the first time he's gone down there to see how that place is like. Yet, he's the managing director, is the one managing all the resources of this country. Now he went there. He was in the swamp. He was in the rain. I'm sure he didn't like it. But that is where people stay. This is where we stay. And this is why I've been calling ever since to the federal government to look at the state of the Niger Delta. The people are suffering. There's no food. The people, because the water is spoiled, there's no land to plant. And I was telling them that one day is one day, there will be problem. So the children have been looking. So they went to do little self-help. They go down, they take little they now, you know, in the Delta State now, the children have perfected the technology of making kerosene. There's no kerosene in the country. The children there now, they supply the kerosene because they have to help themselves. And when this thing was NNDC, when it was going down and down, they kept creating board. They don't put anybody there. They go there, they bring the money, they share it. I went to court. In everything that I do, when I talk, they don't listen. I'm helpless. But the court is my
the last hope
my
for the
place
common
of
man.
rest. I went to court 3 years ago, and I said, I'm fed up with it, what they are doing to my people, to the Niger Delta. You people, some of you don't come from this swamp we come from. And yet you are the ones who are made board members. Now you don't know what to do. You don't know what we are suffering. And because you are not there, you don't know what is happening. I took them to court. I have spent my money. That's 3 years I've been in court to get the state government to regularize, to bring some succor, to create the super deck. I was in court for 8 years. I wasted my money and time. And everybody feared for my life. Now, 3 years, I took the federal government to court to stop the NDDC. They are just wasting our money and time. I challenge anybody to come now and tell me what has NNDC done, produced, or helped people in the Niger Delta. Nothing. This is the second problem. These are the big things that have created where the boys now, gradually they are getting more daring, more angry, and they took up arms. If you go to the Niger Delta, there's more ammunition in the Niger Delta than anywhere else. I talked. When they did not agree, I went to court. I'm still in court. I was there last week. The case is adjourned to next week. I want to go home. I love my creek. Whatever it is, I love my creek. I was brought up there, and my grandmother brought me up well in the creeks. I am strong. I don't want to live here. I want to go back to the creeks.
All right.
So now they can gather people. These ministers of Niger Delta, they gather people to come and lure the federal government that they should remove the NNDC, the board should be put there. The board, people are dying. Are people dying there now? Can you see that these same people are the ones? It's not my children that have stolen much. I don't say my children have not taken, they've not bunkered.
All right.
But if you see the amount of money, the bunkering, the big vessels that have come to take away the oil of this country, if you see the way those pipes have been, where they are coming from, they are coming from miles. How they have been able to lay the pipes, put the pumps. You know, it cannot be done by my children in the Niger Delta who are hungry.
Okay. You've actually touched on some nerve. We have to go on a break. You have actually touched on some nerve, and we will definitely start right where you landed. Let's go on this quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues with Chief Rita Lori Ogbebor. See you shortly.
You created, you set up the scientific audit. Where is the white paper? What have you done about it? You said you were going to punish all those people who bled this country dry. Mr. President, what have you done? I'm in court. I've been in court now for over a year on a matter of forensic audit. What have you done? So you cannot tell me that I'm afraid of anybody or not trying to help my country. I've helped my country. I've helped my people. I've helped the Niger Delta. But one thing is clear, I am an Itsekiri woman. I am an Itsekiri woman. And there is no way an Itsekiri woman or man will behave in a way that is not going to be answerable to his ancestors.
If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We're reaching you from Captain's Television Studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you've missed out on a whole lot. But then you can still join in the conversation. Our guest on the show today is Chief Rita Lori Ogbebor. She is an Itsekiri leader. She's a social critic and an activist for the development of the Niger Delta region. Now, before we went on that break, ma'am, you said quite a lot of things and you touched on some nerves, but you stopped off at where you were talking about the pipelines that are found or that are built in Niger Delta region. And then we've heard a lot of people saying that some of these pipelines, in fact, all of these pipelines that were established in that region, they're definitely not done by petty thieves or by amateurs. They're done by professionals, syndicates, people who have strong cartels who have strong network. And now you are also saying the same thing. Now, is it that all of this, were they done without the knowledge of the executives of the states, the chiefs of the states, and all?
Well, I will answer that question. But let me take you a little bit back. Because if we, now there's a big, huge problem which this country cannot solve. So if you don't know the origin or the past, you'll not be able to solve the problem. Because today, we have talked plenty. But how do we solve the problem? So I want to come back to what has happened, why these boys have done two things. When they are hungry, they go about with their small jerry cans. They go with their little canoes, they go and bunker. And they go and sell to drivers on the roads. They stop you. They offer you oil. You buy. They go home to look after their families, their wife and children. They also do another thing. They know what is happening in the creeks. These young boys, because most of them, their fathers managed to get them to the university. So they know. But they will turn their back. As if they will never tell anybody. And even if these big vessels that come, what do they give to these boys? Guns. They give them guns. And I've been saying these things. I've never hidden it from the federal government. I have cried. And in most cases, I have gone to court myself to waste my money, to spend my money. This NDDC is supposed to take care of the Niger Delta. That is what the NDDC is supposed to do. Provide the schools, provide the hospital, provide transport, at least to alleviate, give them the mere bare existence. But who are those who go, those who supervise, who handle the NNDC? What can the governors say? Are they not the ones who overlook the NNDC? The big men, the executives of the NNDC, what are they doing? What have they done? They should show us what they have done. When we were conceiving the master plan for NNDC, everything was put into it. School, hospital. Everything that should make life possible. The basic necessities of life. Light. They were all put there. Is anything done today? No. Is anything like Niger Delta? No. But they go on shouting, Niger Delta, Niger Delta. Until, like I said, the NNDC, I went to court and stopped it. I thank God for the president who heard my cries. You know, I don't want to say it, but looking today at the way the NNDC or the NPC has run the way the Niger Delta, the big, the way that the circle of thieves, the way they have devoured the Niger Delta with its products. Can any president who has 4 eyes, who has not got 4 eyes, do anything? People say, oh, that President Buhari is, government is useless. President Buhari has not done anything for us. But look at the thieves, the way they all devoured where the money is to come from and render the whole country useless. The foreign exchange, people come all the way from their different countries, they converge on the Niger Delta and take away all our oil and render we, my children and I, the producers of the wealth of this country, they render us useless and stupid. How can one man, because he bears the name of president, is sitting somewhere and is able to manage all these things? Is it possible? It's not possible. What can he do with that money? When he gives instructions, go to Akure, the man who is there turns around and goes to Ilesha, or go to any other place. That is not how the army is run. The man is an army man. He's used to giving others, and he thought he could control the place. Let me tell you, I have not taken contract from federal government before. I don't care what they do. I'm very satisfied where my grandmother created and put me. I'm a happy person. So I've never asked for favors. All I've been asking the federal government to do is that if you have taken so much from us, you must give us so much. That's what I'm saying. Having said that, the president decided to create an scientific audit to audit the NDDC. If you go there now, it's a generation of brothers, politicians. When it's time for politics, people converge on NNDC because the money is there, and nobody will talk. What can I do? I went to get back to court. Tomorrow, I'm going to court to tell the president, Mr. President, you said you are going to do something about the stealing that is going on.
Fight corruption.
In NNDC. You set up the scientific audit. Where is the white paper? What have you done about it? You said you were going to punish all those people who bled this country dry. Mr. President, what have you done? I'm in court. I've been in court now for over a year on a matter of forensic audit. What have you done? So you cannot tell me that I'm afraid of anybody or not trying to help my country. I've helped my country. I've helped my people. I've helped the Niger Delta. But one thing is clear, I am an Itsekiri woman. I am an Itsekiri woman. And there is no way an Itsekiri woman or man will behave in a way that is not going to be answerable to his ancestors. Everybody knows me in our land, and I know practically all the who is who in our land. They will not dare go and start this kind of huge bunkering as to bring down the roof of my country. They have brought down the roof of Nigeria. And I think all of us should be thoroughly ashamed. There's nobody who is going to say, I'm not part of it. It's a lie. From the bottom to the top. Even Kari was saying the other day that even in the church and in the mosque, they found pipelines. He has gone there now. He has seen for himself. Will he like to stay in that place for 1 minute? For 1 day? But here, this is where he gets all the money that makes him the managing director of the biggest outfit in this country, financially.
All right.
So, the situation now, the children have taken over. They want to help themselves. The biggest problem is, what do we do? How do we solve this problem? The other day, they were interviewing one of the boys. He said, I know what I'm doing is not the right thing. But I left university, I took to driving. They sacked me because I'm not really a driver. I went to get keke. Now they banned keke. So I came back home. So I'm joining my brothers and sisters who didn't go to school to go to where I can get money to feed them. The interviewer from IRA said to him, if you get a job, will you do a job? Will you take a job? He looked at the interviewer and said, job? It depends. But what kind of a job? Is there any job outside there? If there's a job, where is the ASU hanging all over the place? There are no jobs. So I will stay here. Then the interviewer said, but this is big hazard. He said, yes, I know. I see my sister has died here. My brothers, they die here. He said, me, when we are going out in the morning, we pray to God to help us. When we come back at night, if we are safe, we say, Father, thank you. He said, but I am prepared to stay here now than to go out there. This is the problem we have. These children, as I told you, and then he was boasting before the camera, before everybody, that they have been able to there's no kerosene in the country. So we supply kerosene. How are you going to manage the situation now? Am I now going to go and tell them, my children, all right, they've settled the matter, let us down tool. We must start now to do something.
All right.
And this is the purpose of accepting this interview. The immediate thing we should do now is to rectify. Already, we had a solution. We built and funded the Desobade. The Desobade has a master plan. It has its rules and regulations. Let us go back there immediately. To create jobs. First and foremost, you must create jobs. People want to work. They don't just want to sit down. They want to work. Then, immediately, you must assure them of tomorrow. They must eat food. School for their children. You must do that immediately. I'm now telling you the immediate things that we must do that can make the children of the Niger Delta, that can cool them down. While these are the short terms, before we look at the long term.
All right.
The long term solution. But the short term is to call the leaders of the Niger Delta. And when I'm talking about the leaders of the Niger Delta, I'm talking about people who have credibility. Because it's not when you are a governor that you may not have, a governor may not have a credibility. Credibility is given to those who have souls, who think of other people, who think of other children. We must sit, bring out the master plan. Let us start to give our children immediate hope. There's the master plan of the NNDC. We look at it. We start immediately. Gradually, we will be able to bring our children down. Because then we'll be able to talk to them and say, look, what you have been been doing is wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. What you are doing, there's death there. You can die. We are not going to go on like this. So this is the way you must go.
All right.
Schools. Because when you say you are building schools, immediately you are creating jobs. Because we now find these boys, they are creating jobs, they will come to work, they will get money, they go and feed their children. They will buy food. You will get the electricians. There are electricians among the boys. There are bricklayers among the boys. There are block makers among the boys. All those boys that created Abuja, they are there. The way this Abuja is created, you can't tell me how they created Abuja, how Abuja is created, because I was here. At the age of 80, there's nothing you can tell me in this country about anything. I will not give you an answer. How did we create Abuja? This is, if the boys know that, the way Abuja was created, the way we managed to uplift Lagos, if you tell them we are going to create Abuja in the Niger Delta, they will be able.
They want to be a part of it.
They want to be part of it.
Also.
That will be their pride. But if you think that by surveillance, you bring all the Tompolo, bring everybody, give them money, go and kill your children, brothers and sisters. We want the oil. My dear, we are wasting our time. We are wasting our time. Because there's a limit to which Tompolo can kill his people. There's a limit to which an Itsekiri man can kill his people. Because we are going to sit and say, but I'm hungry now, give me food. I just got a message now that there is a problem in Warri, in the creeks. One of the members, one of the, a bigger boy, has made a law that some people should not go out near certain areas. And those boys are saying, they just said to me, we are going to kill ourselves here. He said, because this is where we fish to feed our children. If we cannot fish, then there's nothing more. We cannot farm. This is the area where we fish. And they are telling us not to come near here. We kill ourselves. That is the message I just got. I want to play this. Is there where we can play this thing so that people can hear that I am not adding or subtracting from what is in our Niger Delta. So once that is done, if we can come up with the with the purge of the NNDC, and let the NNDC itself start its work. All we are saying is that we have the money. We produce this thing. Abuja is built. And children, Abuja is going, your money will be used to build a place here. And we are really when we start to build the schools, then teachers will not hang around. They have a place to work. Transportation. Then we can move from one end of the Niger Delta to the other. That is work. by the time, then we can recruit our policemen. We can recruit more police to police that area. That is what I know will start to bring down the tension.
Now, sorry to cut in there. You talked about recruiting more policemen, and then we know that there are the Navy gunboats, the Army, and there's so much security around the area. But then they keep saying that could be that people of the Niger Delta are just turning blind eye, and they're looking out, they just decide to turn their eyes away from it. Now, if you talked about the surveillance contract, a lot of people have actually stated that how sustainable is this? How, if we want to copy from countries that build strong institutions rather than strong men, then how sustainable is this contract?
I told you, we should build an institution. An institution. The upper deck is an institution. I told them, the institution, build it. Go into the creeks, build hospitals, build schools. This is why I went to court. Until finally, they said they created the super deck. But as I've told you, I've not seen anything from it. I told you about NNDC. What is NNDC? It's an institution. It's what I'm telling you. An institution is not one person. An institution is an institution that involves the whole country. Everybody. Where we can have hope and confidence. That is all that I've been preaching. NNDC is an institution. And I told you, the way we build Abuja, let us begin to think like that. To create Niger Delta. Where is the master plan? The master plan was supposed to create an institution. Where is it? Let's start it. So that those boys can be restful. Otherwise, what have I been saying? I've been saying you cannot slap so much money on one human being and say, or two people, single two people, and say you are the one going to manage a place that is as big as Akure. Niger Delta is as big as Ekiti State. So you can't ask one person to do that. When they gave Tompolo that job, you saw Asari refused. He queried it. And he said, Tompolo must not get to where he is because he is in the Kadabari area. Then other threats rose up. And then he was able quickly to run because of what people like us are saying. He ran around getting all the things in the Joe area. Getting to rally around him to make the job possible. But Nigeria, it cannot be possible. Because one person who is not institutionalized like the president cannot run, or governor cannot run a country or run a state. You must have an election. The election puts the president there or put the governor there. This is institutionalized. We put him there. And he has his deputies all over the place. That is institution. But you can't have one big man or two big men or three big men that they are policing any state.
All right.
It's not going to be workable.
All right, awesome. It's actually been a wonderful time having this conversation with you. But now, before we let you go, let's talk about the recent conferment, national conferment on the Olu of Warri and other prominent awardees found by the federal government, and then he was conferred the National Award of Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Is that actually deserving? Will you say that that's deserving enough before we let you go?
You must let me go, because the award, you cannot award anybody today. The way this country is, not enough to eat, not enough to drink. What are we to talk about? The age of 80, this question is not for people like us. I've given my contribution, as you very well know. I have institutions all over the place. I started creating jobs at the age of 21. And I have never depended on government or anybody. I built up myself. And it's not my place to look for awards. Awards is in, people know. And those that have been able to get the awards, congratulations. We have more work to do than praising ourselves.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time with us, Chief Rita Lori Ogbebor. It's been a wonderful time having this conversation with you. We've actually it's been an eye-opener. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, you've heard it all from Chief Rita Lori Ogbebor. It's been a wonderful time. I'm sure that you must have been rightly educated and informed. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a wonderful time, like I said. I'll see you again next time. Keep watching The Conversation, because you never know who my next guest will be and what my next topic will be all about. Till I come your way again from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Annabelle Oji. God bless Nigeria.